While we're waiting for Dean Stolz-Leike, I'm just going to share with you the agenda that we quickly put together for today. Not an especially fancy agenda with proper language and things like that, but I thought since you're here right on time, it behooves me to give you a sense of what we hope to achieve in a half hour or so that we set aside for this. The objective of this meeting is to encourage everyone to complete gold training. You received the email because you have most likely not yet completed the silver training. Some of you may not have completed the bronze yet, and we really want to get everyone up to speed with that. There's a lot of things to say about that, but the agenda is basically to give you a sense of what's involved. It's really ridiculously easy, and you will find it extremely profitable for your teaching because there's some great tools involved. Dean Stolz-Leike will give you a look at it. So if you haven't poked around the training website, you'll see how incredibly transparent and wonderful it is. And then and also I'll mention that many of you may have already developed many of the skills anyways. You don't even have to take the training. You can go straight to the quiz. It's like you don't have to get a learner's permit for this. You can go straight to the quizzes and take them on your own. And there's zero cost to doing so, because if you fail the quiz, you can take it again as many times as you like until you get it. So it's not a high stakes quiz, but it's something that I think will really ensure that all of our faculty are ready to teach our students in this unusual environment. And then at the end of this, of our brief presentation, which is very casual and relaxed, we'll have Q&A. I imagine we're going to have Q&A in two different areas. The first is specifically on the online training for remote teaching, which will probably, Dean Stolz-Leike will handle most of those questions. And then if she wants to jump off at that point, we'll probably have to talk as well about the vaccine mandate, because this is all happening at the same time. Some of you may have questions about how that is going to work, and I'll be very happy to entertain them. Note as well that the policies at LAS and at Machon Parnassa are distinct from policies that are adopted at the Lander College for Women and Lander College for Men. So there will be some significant changes there, differences there. And okay, and it looks like we have a new faculty member here. Where is Milada Sirota? There you go. Hello, this is Inessa Vichar. Welcome. So nice to have you with us.
I'm sorry I'm not able to change my name. It doesn't give me that option on here, but thank you so much. I'm very happy to be here.
Here we go. I can fix that for you. I think we have that setting here because students have an irritating custom of vandalizing a website or their Zoom. I like to do things like this, for example, sometimes I go into meetings and if they're very boring, I will change them to something like this. And then I just wait until someone realizes, that I'm not in fact Brad Pitt. Although, it quite often happens. I'm walking down the street and people say, "Hey, isn't that Brad Pitt there?" Yeah. Okay. Do we have Dean Stolz-Leike with us? Oh, there she is. Great. Okay. So Dean Stolz-Leike, I just took a few moments to quickly give them a look at the agenda that we had planned. I don't think you need a lot of introduction, but perhaps I should quickly say that Dean Stolz-Leike is the Vice President of Online Education, besides her responsibilities as the Dean of Lander College for Women. She and I have been colleagues now for somewhere in the neighborhood of a dozen years, I think, and we are still friends despite that. So our goal today, the overall objective, is to encourage all of you to take the gold level of training. Many of you are already tremendously proficient on Zoom, Canvas as well, and we just want to try and give you the important message that we want you to take this further. I will also underline this by emphasizing the fact that, when we got into the pandemic a year and a half ago, we did not realize just how crucial Zoom teaching would be and how much it would occupy our future, and especially asynchronous teaching, which is an entirely different animal. And so our students really, they deserve our best, pedagogic approach. And that's why we really want to emphasize that everybody should have these valuable tools at their disposal. We're also mandating that anyone who is teaching a full Zoom course, effective the fall, must have completed the gold training. So we will not allow instructors to teach on Zoom, a fully synchronous Zoom course, unless they have completed that training. And one last detail I have to add, the asynchronous teaching, which requires the completion of a special module that Dean Stoltzleiki might speak a little bit about. I took the training myself, by the way, it was really valuable. Effective January 2022, because of the way the calendar works out, we're going to require that every instructor, including adjuncts teaching one course, complete one module, essentially 1 week's worth of classes, as an asynchronous unit. And that will require some different tools and some different techniques and different approaches. So we have a good 6 months to prepare for that, or a little bit less than that, more like 4 months to prepare for that, but it is on the horizon and it is for everybody. Okay, so with that, I'd like to turn over the floor to Dean Stoltzleiki to tell us a little bit about the training, please.
Fantastic. So thank you. I think I know many of you, and I'm pleased to meet those I don't know. And you'll have to excuse me, I've been on Zoom all day. So it starts getting, Monday I find my voice gets scratchy, and you can see I'm in my office, which is for me now a different experience. I'm used to being at home. So I have my bowl of candy, sucking candies, and I have to now create it. Now that I'm back in the office, bring those things along with me as well. Anyway, it's nice to see you, and thank you to Dean Abramson or Dean Pitt, depending on your choice. I'm glad to be here, and it's always wonderful to work with Dean Abramson, and I think he has a tremendously excellent sense of online education, has done wonderful courses and videos, and he's not just the dean, but an incredible resource in terms of raising the level of what can be done in online education. And he's done that for us at Touro. And also, if you've had the pleasure and privilege of listening to any of his videos, you see how talented he is within that arena. Okay, what I'm going to do now, and Dean Abramson mentioned the whole idea of asynchronous and the courses that what you would be required to do. What we've done is the training that I'm going to show you in a moment is done completely asynchronously. You can do it at your own time. You can do it sort of say, well, I've never done this training and I'm going to do the bronze, silver, and gold in one sitting. You can do a little bit at a time. Whatever works for you is the way you should be doing it. And similarly, when you do the training to build an asynchronous module, it's fully asynchronous. So again, you can do, and thank you, Dean Abramson gave us some suggestions that we're adapting for the asynchronous training. You can do it in one sitting. So there are 4 modules. You can do it in one day if you'd like. You can take a month to do it, do 1 a week. It's really up to you. It's asynchronously, so it's done in the learning style that's most comfortable for you. We also have resources to help you. And what we're also inputting beginning in October on the asynchronous training is we're going to have a set of interactive pieces. So you're not just going to be learning about pieces that you put into a course, like a model course or a model module that then we give you feedback on. But if we're saying, okay, try inputting X or Y or Z in your module, you'll be able to do that interactively, get feedback on that, as you build your course. So we want to make it easy for you to learn the skills that you need to bring excellence in online education to whatever you're doing. What I'd like to speak about though, and I'm going to, Dean Abramson, did you allow me to share my screen? Yes. So what I'm going to do is share my screen. This is the familiar portal. I hope everyone can see my screen, but you can see the portal. Can you see my, Dean Abramson, you can see it? Okay, so here's the portal. And now I'm going to click, presumably you all know how to access Canvas. You just scroll down a little bit and then you hit log into Canvas. And hopefully it will load. Being a little slow. Okay, so here's my Canvas dashboard. I have lots and lots of courses. The one I'm looking for is the one right over here that says Faculty Development Tools for Zoom and Canvas. You should all have this on your dashboard. If not, what you can do is you can go to where it says over here on the side, courses, and it should be listed verbally there. Click on it, but it's called Faculty Tools for Zoom and Canvas. If you can't find it, you can also let me know and I'll send you a link to that. Okay, then you click on it. And here's what it looks like. The Faculty Development Tools for Zoom, UJA, and Canvas. And we have it at 3 different levels: the bronze level, the silver level, and ultimately the gold level. Here, if you want, you can navigate right from here. And at the bronze level, you can click here for bronze. And as you can see, there are lots of tools. It says, and here for the Zoom skills, it's how to create a Zoom meeting, how to edit a recurring Zoom meeting, how to copy an invitation, how to use Canvas announcements, how to use emails to communicate with students. So these are the Canvas skills, and here are the Zoom skills. What does a typical tutorial look like? So let's say I wanted to look at something in Canvas. Okay, how to use Canvas announcements. I would click on that. And there are 2 things you get. You can look at the video tutorial, and that is a video that tells you how to use Canvas announcements. Or you can look over here and go to a text-based tutorial. Now, first of all, if you notice over here, it says you can download the document. So if you would like to print it out, if you don't have 2 screens, you can print out the tutorial, put it on the desk in front of you, and follow through step by step. If you have 2 screens, you can put your a course up, the courses you're teaching, go into Canvas, and then follow through. So how to send an announcement gives you step 1 with a screenshot. Then step 2, another screenshot. Step 3 keeps going along. So we take you through easily, step by step by step, to teach you how to create an announcement in your course. So it makes it very, very easy to follow. We've gotten tremendous feedback on faculty just feeling that it's incredibly user-friendly. Now, what's important though also is, let's say you go back and you look at the Zoom and you say, I've been on Zoom now for 1.5 years. I know how to use a Zoom meeting. I know how to do a recurring meeting. I know how to do a Zoom invitation, copy an invitation. I know how to do all of this. Skip it. This is something that's meant to be helpful to you, not requiring you to spend time on something you know. Same thing for Canvas. Particularly, I've seen some of the faculty included here are faculty who teach online courses. You definitely know how to publish material in Canvas, or use announcements, or post your syllabus. If you know how to do it, then feel free to go right to the quiz, take the quiz, and you're done with the bronze level. And then anytime you want to go back and you say, gee, I thought I knew how to post my syllabus or whatever it is, but I need a refresher, you can always go back to the course to get a refresher. But if you think you know how to do these things, or if you just want to see if you know how to do things, go right to the quiz. If you get 12 out of 12, you're done with the level. Then you go to the next level, which is the silver level. And over here, you look at it and it says on the silver level, other things, how to make a student a co-host in a course, how to annotate, how to use the whiteboard in Canvas, how to create a quiz, how to enter grades, how to create an assignment, etc. But what's important is, again, everything has the same form. So for example, if I went to annotate, here is my video tutorial. If you wanted to download it, you'd click over here, you'd be able to download the tutorial again if you wanted to print it. Here's our introduction. Why is it important to know how to annotate? And here again are our step-by-step tutorials. Step 1, what do you do? Here's the screenshot. Step 2, step 3. This is annotation is easy, so it's a very short tutorial. But as you can see, everything is organized to be user-friendly and step-by-step. Let's say you wanted to look at how to view a student submission in Canvas. So again, there's our tutorial. Here's the link to be able to download the tutorial. Sorry, here's the video tutorial. Here's the link to annotate the text. And here's the text-based tutorial organized in a step-by-step user-friendly fashion. Okay, Dean Abramson, I don't know if you want to add anything else here. You're on mute.
I would like a class on remembering when I'm on mute. The only thing I would say is repeat to the point of redundancy that these skills are designed to make you the best educator possible in this remote environment. They are, really well designed. I was involved myself in some of the early versions of this, and Dean Stoltzloike has brought in a team of professionals to really make this as intuitive as possible. I really want to emphasize that everybody should complete silver by now, and gold will be necessary for any full-time teaching online. And don't forget that module making workshop afterwards. So this is really in the best interests of your students, in your best interests, and I really want to encourage you to get on with this training.
Great. And again, at the silver level, if you think you know all the skills, go to the silver quiz. The silver quiz requires 12 out of 12. The gold is 20 out of 20. But the idea is if you think you know these and you want to go right to the quiz, fantastic. As Dean Abramson just said, and it can't be reiterated enough times, is the goal of this is to provide helpful information that will make you the best you can in anything you're doing remotely. But the Canvas skills, even if you're teaching only in a classroom, you'll find extremely beneficial.
Yeah. Maybe since we're doing pretty well with time, maybe I would say something waxing a little more philosophical. In terms of the entire educational enterprise that we've been involved in, we are living in such dramatic times of change, and we have to be cognizant of that because we are a transitional generation. We're like a generation that knew Egyptian servitude, but we're not going back to Egypt. We are going to the promised land, and we have to keep our eye on the future. If you think about it, ever since we gathered around a campfire to share stories, as educators, we have basically taught in the same way. When cuneiform and then later writing developed, and that was great. We could put things on boards. We improved significantly when we went to printing technology, where students could actually afford to own a copy of our wisdom printed on pages. And now we're going to a totally new environment that is going to radically redefine how education happens. And your grandchildren will say, did you really teach in a room with a whiteboard and you actually physically wrote things on the board? It will be so dramatically different. So I strongly encourage you to think about how you can bring your old world skills into this new dimension of teaching. The first step is definitely bronze, second is silver, third is gold. And I'm really looking forward to Platinum, which I'm hoping is going to concentrate a lot more on the performance aspects of working in the video format. So think of yourselves as living in a Gutenberg moment where we're at a liminal space, a cusp of a brand new era, and we have done great throughout this pandemic. Touro College has been remarkably resilient and creative and innovative, and I just really want to continue that for the future. Okay, that's really the presentation. I guess what we'd like to do then is I would like to suggest that we divide the Q&A up into two sections. The first section, if you have questions that specifically relate to the training itself, how the training works, how the badges work, how that relates to our scheduled rollout of Zoom classes and so on, we should talk about those first while we have Dean Stolz-Loiky. And then because the policies of LCW and LAS MLP are a little bit different, if you want to talk about the vaccine mandate and how that's going to affect our teaching, especially that first month when we're online, we'll let Dean Stolz-Loiky hang around if she wants to see how we're doing it, but otherwise I'll handle those secondly. Okay, so nobody likes to ask the first question. Is there someone who has the second question? We can begin with that.
I do. This is Professor Seidenberg.
Hi, how are you?
Dean Abramson and Dean Stolz-Loiky. A question for you. Is this training different from the trainings that we took subsequently? I think last summer we had like the modules learn how to do the putting on Zoom and how to use Canvas effectively. Is this new training? Is this new training or just building upon the other?
So there was, initially we created bronze training, and then we added another level of silver, and then we added another level of gold. So
Okay.
if you've received all three of your badges, you're done. If you're not sure, then let me know and I can check for you.
Yeah, I'll look and see.
And I
'cause
think Dean Abramson also has the list, so he can check for you as well.
okay,
Actually, Jamie has the list. If you ask me, I would ask Jamie, and Jamie would tell me, and I would tell you. So you can just ask Jamie directly. She's on this call
okay,
too.
that's no problem. I'll ask her. Okay, thank you.
Historian, please, Dr. Singer.
Yeah, I'll take issue with your, changeover from cuneiform to Zoom, but okay. I wanted to ask about the modular training. Is that part of the gold level? Was that in there and I missed that, or is it a separate course?
I'm not, what do you mean the modular?
So if we're asking everybody to prepare an asynchronous week at LAS, is there a separate training that's needed for that beyond the gold
Yes.
level?
Yes, there is. Yeah.
And
But the
where-
idea is, and I think Dean Abramson sort of referenced when he was talking about the platinum level and pedagogy. So the idea is really what you're learning is skills, and what you learn in the asynchronous training is more how to apply the skills pedagogically to the classroom. So it's nice to know how to build a module or how to build a page in Canvas, but how do you actually create a course that is, it's not just here are the steps, but that is engaging to students. What should it feel like? What do you have to do? And even in a single module, what are those pieces about?
So is that going to be a separate, you're saying the platinum level, or because I'm
So
thinking
that's what we're calling asynchronous online training. So it's not the platinum level, but it's also asynchronous, but it's separate from the faculty development tools training that we were speaking about.
So my concern is for the LAS faculty who will now have to have something in the can for the spring. Where will we find this training?
Right. Can I make a couple of suggestions? Actually, I think we should, I'm suggesting this to Dean Stolz-Loiky on the fly. I think we should probably put a link to that right in the same
That's what I'm wondering.
bronze, silver, gold training, because otherwise you're going to have to look for a different shell. I mean, something like that. But
so just to tell you, we are launching either this week or next, the new and improved online education website, and it's going to be on the front of the portal. And if you go there, you will be able to link directly to the asynchronous online training. So the link for that is going to be there. So you don't have to hunt around for it or look, you just go to the website, you'll find it. It's under the box that says training, and you hit training and it gives you a variety of different things we do, including the asynchronous online training. So it'll be very easy.
And if I could add one more detail to
Yeah.
respond to Dr. Singer, I just took the training last month for the module. And one of the things I liked about it that was different from the gold, silver, and bronze is that, as Dean Stoltzloki mentioned, gold, silver, and bronze are all about training. How do you do this? How do you do that? Things like that. And it's really very helpful. The module training, however, takes kind of a step backwards and looks at it more from the student experience. And one of the things that we haven't emphasized a lot of is that there has to be a certain level of consistency. So when a student walks into an online class, they know where things are, they know what to expect, they know what is expected of them. Kind of like when we walk in a classroom and you see there's a screen facing forward, you know that your chair should face towards the screen. Basic things like this, but they're not intuitive in an online environment. So the module making workshop, besides developing some really cool skills and technologies, also kind of like sets a template that says, okay, you're going to design a module. Well, it should have these 3 ingredients. We suggest putting them in this sequence. Here are some tools for each of those ingredients. And I think it will create a sort of like general gestalt that every student taking a module of an online asynchronous class will have out of Touro. Lots of room for your individual personality and the kinds of materials you like to present and the kinds of questions you like, but students will know what's the shape of the classroom when they have instructors who've completed this training.
So if I can just interject on that, ever keeping my eyes on the prize of not only the student experience, but I have to worry about attracting adjuncts to teach for us.
Yeah.
And the more onerous the process is for them, the less they're going to be willing to commit to me.
So Dr. Singer, I'm going to just interrupt you
Yeah.
there because I
You know where I'm
think that your
going.
paradigm has to shift. What you're getting, what you're providing to these adjuncts is tens of thousands of dollars of free professional development and skills they can take anywhere. And so the idea is, yes, it can be looked at as onerous, but as Dean Abramson mentioned before, the world of education is changing. And instead of them having to spend out of their pocket thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to learn how to teach asynchronously online, we're providing it to them for free, even though they're an adjunct. So if their paradigm shifts and their narrative shifts, this is a like, wow, Touro's amazing, instead of what are you doing to me? And I think that's the reality of the future. What I want to show you though very quickly is just give you also a preview of what our website is going to look like. So as long as we're online, you can take a look. So over here we have again our portal, front page of the portal. And over here you see where it says working remotely. Within the next week, there's going to be something underneath which says teaching remotely, but I'm going to show you basically what's the beta site for this. So this is what the portal website is going to look like. This is going to be the home page, and you can see it says meetings and workshops, resources, Zoom and Uja resources, EdTech tools, our newsletter, our blog, teaching strategies, and online courses. And when you go to meetings and workshops, over here it says training, and here you want to register for the module making workshop right over here. So you want to learn how to teach, all you have to do is click here and you'll be taken and be able to sign up. So nice and easy for you to be able to do it. It's going to be access to group training workshops, online teaching certification, and then one-on-one meetings with my team. But in general, there's just going to be a ton of resources here that you can use. So over here, for example, in Canvas resources, if you want to know how to do announcements, assignments, groups, if you wanted video or text, you have that information here. So everything is going to be very, very user-friendly and valuable. And what we're looking at is creating this as a much more flexible resource for everyone throughout the semester. The other thing that we're doing is we have online courses and we're creating more and more online courses. So you have our course catalog of all the programs that are available and just single courses. Like there's the Jewish intellectual tradition that many undergraduates are taking, but there's also the course in pandemics and structural barriers that are offered by our graduate programs. So there's going to be a lot here. We're open to suggestions for more, but you asked about signing up for the module making workshop. It's going to be extremely easy to do.
Yeah, and I think in terms of the expectations of adjuncts, I do agree with the paradigm shift of, hey, we're giving all this training for free. Do you remember what it was like to teach before PowerPoint? And PowerPoint just completely transvalued what students expect of instructors. I mean, would you hire instructors who were completely unfamiliar with PowerPoint? I mean, maybe if they were teaching in a particular field or that doesn't require it, but otherwise it's kind of the tool of the trade. You know, it's like carpenters have to know how to use a hammer. Okay, we had dealt with the second question and then the first question. Any other third questions? Okay, do we, if we'll move on then, there's a lot developing in the vaccine area. So again, Dean Stoltzfuggy, we want to thank you very much for your time and your energy and your tremendous contributions to the college. You can hang out with us if you like, or you can drop off if you prefer.
I think I'm going to get ready for my next meeting. You know what it's like. So thank you to everybody. It's good to see all of you. Have a wonderful beginning of the year. And for those of you celebrating, have a happy and healthy new year.
Thank you. Take care. Okay, so the vaccine mandate, just to give you a very quick rundown, I know you've been overwhelmed with emails and you may have even seen my videos on this, but in a nutshell, the college has decided to require everyone in our campus community to either be vaccinated or have a medical or religious exemption, full stop. Because the vaccines themselves require a certain amount of time to mature, and then there's the 2-week waiting period after the second dose, we have decided to take us all online for the month of September, which has limited instructional days anyways. And this will be considered a grace period for people to catch up with their vaccinations. The grace period ends on October 3rd. If you have already been vaccinated, then you simply log into Turo One and you find the email or you find my video, which I'll be very happy to put in the chat if you like. And it gives you, actually the link, I remember I made a cool short version for it. The link is bit.ly Turo Strong, right? That is how you upload your data. You will have to be logged into your Turo One account to see it. And we're also hosting a vaccine clinic at the 1602 campus on Tuesday to make it even easier. And that to get an appointment for that, you go to turo.stronger, right? Stronger because you're included. I thought of that myself. I hope you like it. Now, you will, if you are not intending to get the vaccine for whatever reason, the same site, the Turo Strong site, you can upload your application for a religious or a medical exemption. Documentation will be required, including a notarized document indicating that this is a sincerely held religious belief, etc. And Judah Weinberger, the dean of NISCAS, who is also a medical doctor, is the head of a committee that will scrutinize these applications and render a decision on them. That will require some time. So if you intend to apply for an exemption, please do so immediately so that it can be processed in time for the classes. When you have uploaded it, you will get a little sticker like this. Mine is silver. I don't know why I didn't get gold. I was one of the first people, I think, but they gave me silver anyways. And that will essentially give you carte blanche to walk around campus and to engage in any other program you want. Those students who are allowed to attend campus without vaccination through the medical or religious exemptions will have to present periodic PCR negative results. I don't think they've decided yet how frequently, but it might be as much as twice a week. They'll have to get a PCR test on their own and then bring in the lab results to be allowed on campus. And they will have to be masked and they will have to maintain social distancing. We will obviously let you as instructors know when you have students who have received exemptions coming to your classes, and we'll have to make sure that the rooms are large enough to accommodate them. And I have a meeting a little later today to find out if there are any other accommodations that we have to put in place for them. Those will be determined, and if you have students in that category, we'll let you know. Speaking now, kind of like in anticipation, the anecdotal evidence that we've got so far is that there are a number of students who are applying for religious and medical exemptions, not a large number. There are roughly the same number of students who are opposing vaccination, but also unwilling to ask for an exemption. Those students who are not covered by either vaccination or a required exemption will be allowed to take a leave of absence, but they will not be allowed on campus. Same thing goes for faculty and staff. If there is a legitimate exemption, then it will be honored, but there will be distinctions of the experience that faculty or staff have because they'll still have to maintain social distancing, the PCR tests, and the masks, and it will probably not be very convenient. Furthermore, very importantly, it is highly likely that the FDA will grant full approval to the Pfizer vaccine very soon, in which case, not only Touro College, but the rest of New York and much of the globe is going to mandate vaccines, just like we already do for mumps, rubella, meningitis, you name it. And so students who elect to take a leave of absence may find that they have nowhere else to complete their education legally within the state of New York. And they will have to go to, I don't know, Madagascar to find a college that will let them in without a vaccine. So the vaccine or legitimate exemption is definitely the way to go for students, faculty, and staff. Okay, and infomercial. Questions about where we're headed with this? Clear as the sun at noonday, right? Okay. If that is
Dean, excuse me, this is Leon Kaganovsky. Could I speak to you for just a minute in private after you are done?
Of course. If you like, stay on the Zoom. Yes. Are there other people who want to speak to me privately?
If I could just ask one more question.
Sure.
With LA, I know it's always me. With LAS, I'm a little confused about the fact that we're having orientation in person. And I think in some of our discussion about after that, who can come into the building for orientation?
Right, that's a tough one. So what we're trying to deal with the fact that we have a lot of new students who are incoming, and we need to, we don't want to alienate them totally. So the grace period is extended for new students as well, even if they haven't received the first shot. But those new students will be required to mask and social distance. We're setting up, 2 different registrations, orientation sessions for women to spread them out so we can maintain social distancing. We're essentially going back to the pre-vaccine days for these limited events. We thought about having them outside, but we just couldn't think of a practical place to do it. The CDC does recommend masking even for vaccinated people in some indoor settings. And if you have any concerns, then I would take that CDC guidance into consideration. But bottom line, we will have students who are unvaccinated in the building for new student orientation. And you may have some of those students in your classes if they're given exemptions. Okay, folks, maybe I can make a scary message here too, that I want to reemphasize that it's got to be either vaccination or an approved exemption. If people are not willing to apply for the exemptions and not willing to get vaccinations, then it becomes an HR issue. That if there is a job that a person is required to do, and the job requires in-person attendance, then that will be an untenable situation. If instructors have online assignments exclusively, then there may be some room for that particular configuration, but very few people have fully online assignments. Okay, I hope that you found this meeting informative. I hope that you will go ahead and take that additional training. It's really worthwhile, and it will soon be mandatory anyways. And I hope that you'll go ahead with the vaccine as well, because that, I think, is our best path forward for getting things back to normal. Thank you all very much for your attention. Leon, if you want to stay on, I'll hang out and speak to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.